Do you ever wake up and wonder, what's the point of all this? Maybe you've noticed how everything around you seems to lack purpose. Think about it. We spend years in school learning things we often forget. We work jobs to pay bills only to keep working so we can pay more bills. We scroll through social media, comparing ourselves to others, chasing after things that never really satisfy us. Life can start to feel like a never-ending loop of tasks and routines, with no clear purpose in sight. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it can feel even more overwhelming. The universe is vast, and we're just tiny specks in the grand scheme of things. Wars happen, people suffer, and it seems like there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. It's easy to feel like nothing really matters, like we're just going through the motions in a world that's indifferent to our existence. But what if this emptiness, this sense of meaninglessness, isn't the end of the road? What if it's actually the start of a journey? In this video, we're going to dive into how you can find your own meaning, even when life seems to offer none. To figure out how to find meaning in a seemingly meaningless world, we need to look at the philosophy of existentialism. Existentialism isn't just a fancy word. It's a way of thinking that challenges us to face the fact that life doesn't come with a built-in purpose. This philosophy, made famous by thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus, tells us something pretty intense. We are thrown into this world without any inherent meaning. It's up to each of us to create our own purpose. Instead of waiting for life to hand us meaning, existentialism urges us to take charge and define it ourselves. This might sound a bit daunting, but here's the good news. It's also incredibly liberating. It means you have the power to shape your life and make it meaningful, according to your own terms. At some point, many of us hit what's known as an existential crisis. This is that intense moment when you stop and seriously question the meaning of your existence. It can strike during a quiet moment alone or in the midst of a busy day. Suddenly, you're confronted with the big questions. Why am I here? What's the point of all this? This crisis isn't just a passing feeling. It's a powerful experience that can shake you to your core. But here's the thing. An existential crisis isn't something to fear. In fact, it can be the catalyst for real growth. It's a sign that you're ready to dig deeper, to go beyond the surface of life, and to start creating meaning on your own terms. Existentialism introduces us to a profound concept. With freedom comes responsibility. Since life doesn't come with a pre-written script, we're free to choose our path. But this freedom isn't just about doing whatever we want, and it's about realizing that every choice we make carries weight. We're responsible for creating our own meaning in life. This can feel overwhelming. After all, it's easier to follow a set path than to carve out your own. But it's also empowering, and instead of being bound by what society expects, existentialism invites us to live authentically, making choices that truly reflect who we are. It's about owning your life and decisions and understanding that you have the power to shape your own existence. One of the most fascinating ideas in existentialism comes from Albert Camus. He introduced the concept of the absurd. The absurd is the clash between our deep desire to find meaning in life and the cold, indifferent universe that offers none. It's like searching for a clear answer in a world that refuses to give one. Camus didn't see this as a reason to despair, though. Instead, he argued that we should embrace the absurd. By recognizing that life doesn't have a predefined purpose, we're free to create our own meaning, even in the face of an indifferent world. Camus famously said that we should imagine Sisyphus, the mythological figure condemned to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity, as happy. Why? Because Sisyphus finds meaning in the struggle itself. In the same way, we can find meaning in our own lives by embracing the absurd, by living with passion and purpose despite the lack of inherent meaning. Living authentically is at the heart of existentialism. But what does it mean to be authentic? It's about being true to yourself, making choices that reflect your genuine values and beliefs, rather than conforming to what others expect of you. In a world where it's easy to get lost in societal pressures or the pursuit of superficial goals, authenticity is your compass. It guides you toward a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. Instead of living by default, existentialism challenges you to live deliberately. This means reflecting on what truly matters to you and aligning your actions with those values. By doing so, you don't just find meaning, you create it, day by day, through the choices you make and the life you build. Now that we've explored the philosophical foundation, let's talk about how to apply these ideas in your daily life. Finding meaning doesn't require grand gestures. It's about making intentional choices that resonate with you. Start by identifying what truly matters to you, whether it's creativity, relationships, learning, or something else entirely. Engage in activities that align with these values. Surround yourself with people who support your journey and share your passions. Build authentic relationships that add depth and meaning to your life. Pursue your interests not because you're expected to, but because they bring you joy and fulfillment. And perhaps most importantly, learn to embrace uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, but that's part of what makes it rich with potential. By accepting that not everything will go as planned, you open yourself up to unexpected opportunities for meaning and growth. Let's wrap this up by bringing everything together. Life might not have a universal meaning, but that doesn't mean it's meaningless. The beauty of existentialism lies in its empowering message. You have the freedom to create your own purpose. It's not always an easy path. Embracing the absurd, living authentically, and accepting responsibility can be challenging. But it's also a journey filled with opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and profound fulfillment. Remember, the search for meaning is a deeply personal experience. What gives your life meaning might be entirely different from someone else's, and that's okay. The key is to embrace the journey, to keep exploring, questioning, and evolving. After all, the journey itself is where you'll find the most meaning.